Hey guys, welcome back to more AFK Arena. In today's video, we're on Akira Rise account. I'm sorry if I got the name wrong. I'm bad with names. But we're here because I put out a community poll a couple days ago asking about, overlooked heroes that you guys want me to do a spotlight on. And the winner of the poll was Solise. So we're going to go in, take a look at a Solise, refresh our memories on what her abilities are and how she works. And as this account has a maxed one, we're going to go in for a bit of a test. So let's get into it. Okay, so Solise's skills. And I think with Solise, the problem with her is that she's just outclassed as a sort of AoE mage. You've obviously got Irons who just obliterated any hope of anything else surviving. If you've come up against a Solise in the late game, in those multi-fight stages, when she ults, she basically deletes your whole team, so she's a real threat in those. However, her damage scaling isn't really that great using her in campaign yourself. So let's go ahead and take a look. So this one, a 380% AoE damage. Obviously, ever since we got Irons, 380% sounds like absolutely nothing. But she does it, leaving them temporarily stunned. Now, this isn't a proper stun. It's more of an interrupt than a stun. So it's not like a 3-second stun or anything like that. It's like literally a momentary stun that interrupts anything that they could be doing. Using this ability causes cherry blossoms leaves to fall upon the battlefield for 20 seconds. And these cherry blossoms, yeah, got it right. they enhance her other abilities. So then this one here throws a vial at a single enemy target, dealing 200% damage to them, causing them to become temporarily stunned. While the blossom fall is occurring, enemies in close proximity to the original target will also suffer from the ability's effects. Then we have this one here. Sol summons a floral spectre that possesses 50% of her health, which remains on the battlefield for 15 seconds. While when blossom fall is occurring, the floral spectre will deal 90% worth of Solise's attack rating as damage to nearby enemies. And then we have this. When an enemy attacks the floral spectre, oh my god, I can't say it. When the enemy attacks the mini Dref, it will deflect 50% of the damage it receives back onto the enemy. That gets increased to 80%. Then we have this one, she blesses an ally hero, basically reducing the damage they take and making them recover health based on her own attack rating. So that's pretty much what her basic skills are. If we go over here and check out the signature item, the Spectre attacks 2 enemies, and then it attacks 3 enemies at level 30 and just has more health. So that's what we get out of the signature item. And then for the furniture, when the Floral Spectre is defeated or its duration on the battlefield expires, it transforms itself into a spirit form and becomes impervious to all attacks for 8 seconds. So it basically just sits there. But if the blossoms are falling, the spirit is able to attack enemies. However, its damage output is decreased by 15%. Keeping in mind it is attacking 3 enemies with that 30 signature item, not too bad. 9 furniture. When Solise is alive, if an allied hero is positioned on the front line is defeated, a Floral Spectre will appear in that allied hero's position. Now the problem with this is you instantly think Taylene synergies. It doesn't work with Taylene. They actually genuinely have to die. So the one thing I'm thinking with this is like maybe she could have like a synergy with a Lucretia where your goal is to let people die anyway, but that's about pretty much it. Otherwise it's just, it might come in clutch if your tanks do die. So that is her abilities. So we're going to jump in here and I just wanted to show you how this stuff works. So we're going to play this on 1x speed. I had the Taylene in here to test the Taylene, see if the death actually spawned one, but it doesn't actually do it. You can see the Spectre over here, it got killed. Because she used her ult, it's actually attacking in that spectral form, but no one can actually hit it. So it's just there for 8 seconds, dealing splash damage to the enemies. And look at the Pharrell's health to get an idea of the damage. It's not the biggest damage, but it is something nonetheless. So we're going to die here because the Chimera did go ahead and do an ult. But we can have a look, and unfortunately, like I said, we don't get that replacement hero because that replacement Spectre, because it's just Taylene we have in the front row. So let's drop that Taylene. Let's put something like, let's put the Leica in the front row and let her sacrifice. And just have a look at this so when we can see when she does actually die. There we go, we get the ult out. Now the Spectre's attacking. It gets attacked really quick, so it's very, very squishy, even with all those HP increases and stuff. But it does become the Spectre and does keep attacking. But it doesn't give great distractions because it doesn't have, it's not that tanky, but it's still pretty cool to summon a Spectral Dref. I still think it's wicked. So there you go. You can see the Spectre there that got summoned because we did lose the Arthur. And that's pretty much how it works. Now, as for team compositions for Solise, like I said earlier, she's sort of phased out. I feel like you really want control and sustain to let her keep her ultimate on the field. I feel like anything grouping the enemies up might be not too bad because the effect of her, so like Iron could be nice with it. I don't want to extend and say chicken, but you know, her second ability where it does the stun that affects enemies close by while the thing's going is really nice. The other thing I want to look at is also the artifact. So if you do have Windbinder, I think it's a great one for her because her ultimate doesn't actually feel like it does that much damage, even though when you fight against her in campaign, it does. You really want to get those blossoms falling. So having that boost to energy at the start of the battle and letting her get there faster is really nice. So these are the sorts of teams that I think will work not too bad with her control and sustain. I just want to try Iron in this, see how we go, because we do have the Tassie in the team here. So with this, Iron should grab 4 enemies, which should add to the control from Solise using her little stun as well. So let's go ahead and test this out. Once again, we'll leave it on 1 time speed. Iron was probably a bad call with Arthur. We don't really want the Arthur paired with the Iron there. But there we go. We go ahead and ult. And without the Rowan, we are very slow to ult. So what I might do is try that team again, but take the Arthur out. So let's go here. Let's take you out. Let's put the Rowan in and see how this pans out. So Iron's obviously going to get the Sylvina and the 3 others. Oh, he missed the Sylvina somehow. Now Solise should ult pretty quick here, hopefully. Rowan, get the stuns as well, please. And as you can see, that damage, it's not really enough damage to warrant the position. And I think that is where Solise really falls out. I think a boost to her raw damage numbers is what she actually needs. Because you could see that ult on a Pharrell there who has the advantage. Let's try something like this, for instance. Let's go there. So when we ult, so if you can watch her here, she's about to ult. Let's watch the Chimera's health. Watch the Chimera. It does about 10 to 15% of the Chimera's health, which really isn't that much. And that is, for me, basically the main problem with Solise, is she has a bunch of little effects that in the end game, I just feel like aren't great enough to warrant her getting a position over a lot of other things. And that's pretty much the biggest issue with her, and I feel like that's why she doesn't get much usage. But there you go. There you can see she actually did get that stun. It actually stunned both of them, and it's not too bad, and we go ahead and get it. Now, the other issue is that with Solise, like as you can see, she works really well in that team, actually has some decent healing capabilities out of that 4th ability. But the issue is that she needs those good heroes, like, you know, the Arthur, the Rowan, the Leica, the Iron that we used in that one to enable her. Those are very, very, like, you know, heavily prioritized heroes in other teams. And you could sub out for most of the other options and actually do better. Now, I'm not saying she's horrible. I'm just saying there's better options, and that's why not so many people do build her. Simply due to the fact that she's obviously, let's just exit out of here. She's obviously just outclassed. So I think she needs a bit of a rework, because when we look at her kit, so she's got that little AoE stun, which isn't too bad on grouped enemies. It's not a bad ability, but to get the group stun, you've got to have the blossoms falling. So you really need to ult quick, but the ult doesn't really do too much damage, which is the pain. Then you have the Spectres. Now the Spectres aren't too bad. I wish they were tankier, just because they die so quickly. And I feel like if they were tankier, she could play that totem dude sort of role where they become really distracting to the enemies and draw a lot more fire, but they normally get killed by 1 or 2 basic attacks. And yes, they do go spectral form after that, and if the blossoms are falling, they will continue to attack. But I feel like if they had that defensive mechanism in them as well, it'd be really nice. The other thing is she does have that heal, which you can see does do just some decent numbers, but it's slow per second healing, which isn't really what you need. It would be really nice if it was like a burst heal, where if you took the 70% of her attack over X seconds, multiplied that out and just said, okay, every so often she does this as an instant heal and reduces the damage they take for this long. I feel like that would be a better way for it to be prioritized and stuff like that. But I mean, all in all, it's a fairly nice kit, and like, I just think some straight number buffs to her ultimate and also to her Spectre. So Spectre needs extra health and a bit of extra damage because as you can see, at this stage, we're not at a huge level deficit. And we're still struggling to actually deal some nice damage, even with the factional advantage against this team. So if we take a look at our levels, what are we? 43 to 17. So we're about a 85 to 90 level depth. No, not even that. What is it? 80 level deficit-ish? I don't know. Math's too hard right now. But so we're not a huge deficit, but it's still incredibly hard for her to deal damage, even with that faction advantage. But yeah, it's really disappointing that she doesn't do too much, because when you fight against her in campaign, she just absolutely ruins your face as soon as she ults. But when you use her, it's not as great. And as you can see, she does have that good little bit of persistent damage with those Spectres. But I just think it's not enough. That's my personal opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I think early game, she's a lot better because early game, your damage just scales better, especially as a carry and stuff like that. And then your Spectres are going to be a bit tankier because there's less damage coming out. So I feel like early game, she's definitely viable to have fun with. But in the late game, she's just simply outclassed is the vibes I'm getting. But there we go. We should win this one. We should win this one. Kill that Sylvina. No, Shamira's going to solo us. Shamira's going to get us. Roll and throw your duck. Throw your duck. Rip the dream. But anyway, that is the maxed out Solise. Like I said, don't have every option on this account to team up with her. I think some other teammates that might go well with her are things like Pippa as well. I think just the general, like Pippa, Namora, control and sustain to let her sort of deal that. She feels like she's meant to be a burst damage dealer, but she's more of a consistent damage dealer and consistent, you know, she's got the consistent heal as well. So she's more of a build pressure type unit than an actual burst unit. But when you come against her in campaign, she's a complete burst unit. So bit misscaling in the campaign, but once again, let me know what you guys think of Solise. Let me know if there's anything I did miss on her, because I really do like her. Like I love her design. I think she's a really cool unit. She summons a Spectral Dref, which is simply OP, but unfortunately the numbers just feel a little low. Anyway, guys, that is going to be for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I'll look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.